Sometimes when we're loving things rather than Him, we may think we're loving Him, but really, it's not. Got to be very, very careful. Is it John Piper? I think John Piper. John is the first name. This is what he said. If they, this vague attraction in our hearts and souls, if they do not arise from knowing God, they are not loved for God. That's why it is imperative that we study the Word and we spend time in knowing God through His Word. Because if we don't know Him, we're not really loving the true one. Okay? So as for God, as for us, at least, praise God, we know who He is. Not the fullness, but as how He revealed Himself to us. We know we are loving the one true living God. The God of Isaac, of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and Joseph. The God who created the world, the God who provides, the God who cares for us. Amen? That's who we know. And we're set on that. So that's the next important thing. Okay, so we truly love God. God truly loved you first. We truly love, we love the true God. And then the next one is this: we truly love God. Mark 12:30 says, "And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind, and with all thy strength." This is the first commandment. John 14:15, "If ye love me, keep my commandments." John 14:21, "He that hath my commandments, and keepeth them, he it is that loveth me. And he that loveth me shall be loved of my Father, and I will love him, and will manifest myself to him." That's the love that we got to have for God. Many times, young men and women would come for me or come before me for counseling, and it's just amazing to have that experience looking at these couples and these young men and women, like really with so much excitement. They come to my office. You should be with me if you want to feel love and joy and peace. And that's the perfect epitome of that. And these young couples come into the office and talk to me with twinkles in their eyes. You see that? Honestly, with twinkles in their eyes, smiles on their faces, sweetness in their voices. Right? Really, they talk differently when they're with each other. You know, when they're not with each other, they go, "Hey, how are you doing? Yeah." But when they're with each other, they go, "Hi, how are you?" Because I just want to talk to we just want counseling. You know, it's just different. They come to me with twinkles in their eyes, like, and they talk to me about how excited they are about each other, how they just occupy each other's time and energy and effort, how they wake up in the morning. I mean, they make their hearts beat faster. You know, that guy beats my heart. That makes my heart beat faster. You know, it's like Barry Manilow had a song regarding that. My knees, like when my knees buckle, something like that. When you walk through the door, I forgot already, but it's something that he says. You know, it's like in the song, but that's what they feel. They're the first people they think of in the morning, the last person they think of in the night. They couldn't eat well. They grow pimples because they could not sleep at night. You know, they have all of those. They're so passionate about them. And so we get to counseling, and a lot of times, I would even advise against marriage. The deacons would advise against marriage. Couples who are Christians who have been there would advise against marriage at that point in time, at least. But they still go on though. They still go. They still get married. Against all the advice that we have. Some of them make it. They survive. Not thrive. They survive. They make it. They fight hard. Right? They try their very best because they don't want to be embarrassed. But then there are those, and not only one, but a lot of them, end up in a really bad situation. And a lot of times, so this is something that's so real. Well, in fact, last night, right before my wife and I went to bed, she goes, "You want to see this?" It was about 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock in the morning. Almost. Yeah. I said, "Mom, let's sleep." And she was on Facebook. Because she was looking at our dear friend who we have never seen before. I mean, not seen for the longest time. Good-looking guy. A son of one of the famous actresses back home in the Philippines. Good-looking. And she was saying, he looks so haggard now. And I was looking at him, and yes, he's still good looking, but it's different. He looks really old. And we talked about what happened. Because he and his wife divorced, separated. And this is a good-looking couple. The wife got separated from him, left him, and he's now married to another woman. And then, I'm not saying it's wrong or bad, or we're condemning that. I'm just making a statement wherein we were talking to each other and we said, "What happened?" They were our close friends. What happened to them? Who do you think was at fault? A lot of times it's both. But then he said, I think it's the woman. Because when we were talking, I was talking to her, I was trying to convince her to just stay together. And she told me this. She said, I have fallen out of love. She said, I have fallen out of love. So no matter what we try to do to encourage them to go back together, they've just fallen out of love. She has. And she didn't want to try it anymore. A lot of times that's what these kids would tell me after they get married, after a day or, not a day or two, after a month or two or a year or so, they come in that very same office with twinkles in their eyes, and now they're like tears and fear and anger. What happened? They've lost the love. I think at least that's what they feel. It's a love that has grown cold. And that's something that I'd like to remind you about loving God as well. Is because I just want you to even think about it. Are we really in love? Remember when I asked you a while ago, do you really love God? Do we really love Him? Are we like these little kids? I mean, honestly, is He really the one that occupies our time? Is He really the one that occupies our energy? Is God, is Jesus the one that we think of, the first thing that we think of in the morning when we wake up, and the last person we think of in the night? Are we really spending time with Him? Are we that passionate? Are we that excited when we talk about Jesus? Is that us? Because if it's not, do we truly love Him? And that question I'd like to throw to you today is something that I threw to myself. And I'm just saying, Lord, please don't let this be a question that is so familiar to me that I've grown contempt against it. And I'm just not taking it seriously anymore. I want you to ask that question and not take it casually. Not flippantly. But ask yourself really, do I really love God? And I'm really excited about Him. Am I really passionate about Jesus? Is He really the one I focus on? See, that's the question you'd like to ask. Because I was awakened to the fact that I need work. Because I've grown so casual regarding Him loving me. It's like the sun goes up in the morning, down in the evening. It's as normal as that. God loves me anyhow, no matter what. Whether I love Him or not, whether I think about Him or not, whether He's not my first priority or not, He loves me anyway. So it's just that. An appliance. A tool. Just passes by. There's a reason why God tells us, and this is something that I'd like us to read. It's like one of the most endearing verses to me is a word from one of the psalmist Asaph, where he said, he's in Psalm 73 verse 25, whom have I in heaven but Thee? And there is none upon earth that I desire beside Thee. Does it even come close to the position of our hearts regarding the treatment of God? Is that it? And this is something that I'd like to share to you because Jesus Himself warned us about those couples losing their love, growing cold. Do you realize that that's what Jesus knew was going to happen? Matthew 24:12, Jesus Himself said this, and because iniquity shall abound, because sin will be so many, He said the love of many shall wax cold. He was prophesying about the last days, our days. He was looking at you and me. And I pray in my heart, truly, sincerely, that we are not this. That we're not growing cold before God. Do you love Him? Do you love Him? And there's some practical steps I just want to suggest to you, because I was looking at what do these couples do? What did me and my wife do? What do my children do when they're in love with somebody? What do you do when you're in love with someone. And these are the common things that are, I don't need to give you the verses because they are supported by the Bible, but at the same time, by the scriptures, at the same time, it's very common. It is a very common sense thing. These are the practices of people who love each other. And if we are saying to ourselves, Lord, please change my heart, I really, really want to love you, sometimes it just takes a step of faith first before it actually happens. Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. So these are the following suggestions I have. You know, when you love someone, you could not be ripped from. You know, honestly speaking, you could not be taken away from your phone or Skype or FaceTime. You really want to spend time with that person you love, right? So the first step I want you to do is to really spend time with God. Have a date with Him. Regular date with Him. Spend time with Him. Not because it's an obligation, but because you really want to. And you really want to develop that love relationship. The second one, serve God. You know, one of the things that my wife does for me is serve me so much. What about you, Pastor? Do you serve her? She knows. Our kids know. I love my kids. I serve my family. And when people do love each other, you see them serving each other. Are you here with me? Even kids who don't work at home. Oh, tell me honestly. Even kids who don't work at home, they're so lazy about, like, even when they're eating, they don't even want to, like, scoop the rice and put it on the table. They'd rather have somebody do it, right? But in parties, when their crushes are there, oh my goodness, you see them get all the food and then go to their crushes. Hi. Of course, not to be obvious, they serve everybody else first so that they can serve the crush. Right? So they change when they have it, but they serve because they love you. And that's something we got to do for God. And I'm encouraging everybody again, if you still don't have a permanent or routine service that we do for God, do it. Because it's one way we love Him. The next one is to praise Him. You know, one of the things we do when we love each other, do you realize when people are really in love, you don't see the negative? Honestly, that's the reason why our parents get shocked. Right? They honed you. They protected you. They dressed you up. They trained you. They disciplined you. And one time you come home with another guy. Who is this? His dog. I know you, but whose dog? You know? And for parents, nobody is enough. Right? But your parents going, what did you see in this man? That's exactly what my dad said to her. To Ate Bing. When we first met my dad, the first thing my dad told her after some casual conversations, took off his glasses. And I said, I just have a question to you. And my dad, he's scary, by the way. He's a strong guy, scary. He looked at her in her younger days and goes, I just have one question to you. He said, what did you see in this man? What did you see in this man? Okay? Once you saw the perfection of a man. Amen? I mean for her. That's what love does, right? Love. There's a very famous group said, I think it was Janice Ian or Ian who sang the song, Love is Blind, right? Love is without mercy. You know, love is it's just love is blind. That's what it is. But in reality, it's not. It just prefers to see everything in a positive light. Oh, cutie, cutie, pimple. You traveled, she gave you a very bad direction. Oh, cute! We get to set up a tent here tonight. You gave me wrong directions. Oh, cute! Now get married. And she gives you wrong direction. Okay? The person who's so lazy, doesn't want to do anything, man, just like, okay, sit down here, I'll serve you. Right? Because you're so in love with each other. Try to get married. She stays lazy. She doesn't clean the restroom. She doesn't fix her closet. She doesn't do anything at home. You tell me what will happen. But what we see is we affirm somebody who we love, and that's the reason why we praise God. We affirm Him. And there's nothing really. God is the easiest to affirm. You know why? There's no negative in Him. Amen? So this we keep on doing that. When we praise Him, every day of my life. It's something I don't really forget. Okay, so really praise Him the first thing in the morning. Praise God. Praise God. That's the first thing. Before eating, before drinking, before anything. Before I get up from my bed. I do first. Go to the restroom and come back. That's what I do. Okay? So the next one. Because this is what you do. Right? By the way, in relation to praising God, do you realize that when you love someone, you brag about them to other people? Right? You brag, even if you both decide to keep it secret. You're going to keep the secret. Our parents would know. We don't want them to know. Why do they know? Because you brag. You're so proud about this person. That's the reason why it's easy for us, when we really, really love God, it is very easy for us to naturally share Jesus to other people. And if we're scared of sharing Jesus to other people, now we got to really question our love for Him. Really. Honestly, because it's a natural outgrowth of our love is to share Him. The next one is to give generously to God. When you love someone, you love buying them gifts, right? Right? Come on, man. There's a reason why nobody has a girlfriend here. It's because you don't know what to do. Buy them gifts. It helps. Right? It doesn't have to be house and lot. Small ones. Speaking about you, thinking about them. Buy them gifts. Honestly speaking, without me telling you that, isn't it true that you want to buy them gifts? You really want to buy them gifts. Isn't that true? You're not answering. That affirms it. Why? Why? Something's wrong here. But that's the reality. I don't like buying my wife gifts. Same thing, she likes buying me gifts. Honestly. It's a natural outgrowth of our love for each other. Natural expression of love for each other. We really, really buy each other gifts. Even if sometimes it's very difficult to do so. There's a reason why during offering times I'm not trying to make our collections higher. But I'm just saying it's we don't have to force anybody. Do you realize that the givers really give? It doesn't matter whether we talk about tithing or not, we talk about giving or not. They just love God and they give. That's something they do. That's the reason why me personally, remember, many people ask me, do you believe in tithing? And I've shared to you my principle over and over. Even if it's not real. I'm not saying it's not, but I said even if it's not required of us in the New Testament. I said, in the Old Testament, under law, they were asked to give 10% because they were required to do it. My relationship with Jesus Christ right now is not under the law. My relationship with Him is with better, greater covenant, which is a love relationship. If they were required to give 10% before, how much will I give them now that I love Him? Okay? Just to give you a cue, we don't give any less than what the Old Testament requires of us. Okay? Just to give you a cue. You want to see how much we gave last year? No. I'm not going to give you an idea. I'm not going to tell you. I don't want you to feel guilty or to brag because I gave more. Right? But this is just something I'd like to tell you. Our tax man always gets shocked that somebody like us could give that amount. Okay? I'm not bragging here because you don't know how much, but I'm just saying, I love you this. And my giving proves that. Our giving proves that. So those of you who love each other, now a lot of wives here are like looking at me really bad. You know, it's like really, there's no smile on some of the wives' faces. Husbands, they're telling you something. They're saying, it's not true. He says, loving people give. It's not true with me, Pastor. Okay, so please, husbands, do something about it. Are you here with me? Okay, if you're not giving anything to your wife right now, you may be in trouble for quite a while, but change, all right? Never change your heart. Same thing with our God. Give to Him generously. And then the last one is this. One of the things I do for my wife, in everything that I do for her and with her, is I want her to be very happy. I remember when I was courting her. Did I court you? At least in the beginning of our relationship. It just happened so fast. No, it was long. I think it just long term, but I don't think I courted you, huh? It just happened. But one of the things I do, or I did before, honestly, everything, I made sure that I will be the man that will make her the happiest of all the millions of men in the world. That I'll be the one to make her the happiest. And I told her that. I said, it is a burden on my part, but a joyful burden on my part, that I will prove myself to you as the man that will make you the happiest of all the millions of people here in the world, of all the choices you have, that you make the right one. That's the reason why until now, it is the greatest joy in my heart that in everything we do, I look at how I make her happy. In everything. Couples, even, okay, we have kids here. Okay, but really, honestly, okay, I make her happy. I'm more concerned about making her happy than you. Okay? So that's what we do for God. We live to make our God pleased with us. It's not that He's not pleased with us. He is already pleased with us, but the Bible still says we please God. Okay? Those are just practical steps I want to put before you. For those of us who realize we need work in our relationship with Him, we got these steps to do. Are you ready for it? Everybody, I just want to minister to you. As I said, we're going to take time to minister to you guys today. So I want you to stand up. And I'm going to call the leaders to please come up here in front. But I want you to answer this very honestly today, and very humbly as well. Is God speaking to you regarding your relationship with Him? Because this is the time, this is the day. If we need to make a change, today is always the best day. If we know that God has loved us so much more, we realize what God has done for us regarding gift. Sometimes when we think, oh, God is taking so much time from us. He's just asking so much. I don't know how old you are. Mika, how old are you? 25. How much of that time do we give for God? Of the 25 years we lived, of the 52 years I lived, how much of that did I give to God? Because I just want to make a comparison here. Jesus left the wonders, the glories, the splendor of heaven and came to earth for 33 years. And all those 33 years He lived as a gift for you and me, with no fail. The Son of God gave that as a gift for you and me, was not done anything for Him. 33 years. Is He asking us too much? Heavenly Father, I pray that You would just move in the hearts of people right now. May this day be a real change in our lives. And may we be humble. And help us, dear God, how to harden our hearts in this. And I pray we'll be willing, Lord, to accept our need in order to pray. Change my heart, oh God. Make it true.